Hey guys, today with the topic, why did you end up in the friend zone? The starting point for this is always either the first contact with a woman for whom you are interested or the breakup of a relationship. Let's start with the latter, because it is the most obvious topic on the channel. Why would an ex want you in the friend zone in the first place? What does she get out of it? And the question can be answered by the fact that she will continue to get everything from you that is good for her, but she will have to give much less. And in the meantime she can concentrate on dating again. So two birds with one stone. You were no longer good enough for a relationship, but she doesn't want to lose her standards. That means attention, which you give her, her safe haven, which you are in hard times, and if the apartment needs to be wallpapered again, you are in the best case at the snap of a finger directly to the spot. What you hope for from her at that time, namely that you get back together and she just has to realize what a great catch you are, that gets lost in it. She will never see it that way, because you are simply giving her the opportunity to get as much as possible and pay as little as possible for it. If you transfer the whole thing to the free market economy, nobody would act like that. Because if you get something cheaper you admit that the value does not correspond to the actual purchase price. There is no automatic approximation of the value of two persons in love. Either it is balanced, but that is very rare, or one is higher in the course and he can make the rules, or his frame is the one that counts. If you sell yourself short and do not insist on a relationship, the complete power lies with your ex, and she will, whether consciously or subconsciously, capitalize on it and not get involved in anything more. A price increase from your side will then be perceived as insolence. So if you suddenly realize after half a year of friendship, I want to be with her, but she doesn't get it. I'll talk to her about it. This comes for her then completely out of nowhere, because you have obviously got involved after the separation. And your actions count more than your words. So if you have said you want a relationship with her, but still always came dancing when she called or gave her attention, then you are, despite everything, only a friend. And furthermore, you no longer have that intrinsic value to her, as it has continued to diminish, and that is how she will treat you. You are a neutral for her on the scale of attractiveness. You have lowered your attraction more and more in the last weeks and months, although it was already on a downward slide before the breakup. And you can tell yourself that you are the special case and will get that turned around with your ex. That is not the case. Attraction is a basic law for that. When I hear that, sometimes I stay calm, but for me it's like when people used to tell me that they eat below their calorie needs and still gain weight. Then you know inside where the problem really lies. But within the situation you can rarely see that, and sometimes it's important to change something first and get out of there before you can really admit that you just messed up and didn't want to admit it to yourself. You're always the one who knows your ex so well, and she's not like that, and she would never do it that way. You don't know your ex well enough to be able to say that. Otherwise she wouldn't be your ex, or she would be in your friend zone. Which isn't necessarily very empathetic, because in the rarest of cases it's okay for both of you, but at least you don't have the damage. And that's what you have if you slip into the friend zone with someone and still get your hopes up. Because the time you invest in them, you could put in you or in new people. And I'm talking about every thought that comes to your mind and that pulls you down, binds you to her, or makes you plan some kind of junk. Every message and every minute you spend doing something with her. Depending on the person, this can be weeks that you lose, and you could be so much better all the time. You could be further along and get involved with new people who really do you good and want you just as much as you want them. But no. You'd rather hang on to your ex in the hope that after the sixth guy she's had between your relationship and now, she'll finally wake up and realize that you are the one for her because you've always been sweet, kind and attentive. If you've gotten the idea, check out my video on Nice Guy. This will not at any time awaken in her the thought that you are attractive. In the worst case, she will take you back because she can't find anyone else. Then you are not the prize. You are the consolation prize that will be left at the first opportunity because you are worth less than her and act like it. Because you haven't had a chance to work on yourself and really make yourself more valuable and attractive. Self-worth is one of those words that keeps coming up here. Let that roll off your tongue and pick it apart completely. Self-value. The value you give yourself and put yourself out there with. Your charisma to others. How you present yourself, and at what level you see yourself, influences others to see you higher. And if you can't rate yourself higher than someone else, then you're dancing to their tune very quickly and it's clear how much you think of yourself. This is why the friend zone should not be an option for you. Also not with women you are interested in from the first meeting. When you look at dating advice, there are always topics like you should be aloof. Write little back, take it slow. And most of them play it in a funny way, which is of course not authentic and in some cases ridiculous. Why? Because their self-worth is not high enough and they are too focused on this one woman. They visibly don't have more options and don't care enough what this woman thinks of them now. Am I giving dating advice here? Can you pull out of there now? But what I really want to get at is self-worth again. Because it's obviously not high enough to create the attraction between you and the new girl. She is above you and you have to get rid of that thought. Does she want you? If so, great. Work with her. If not, you can flirt a little bit and see if there is any tension, but you also have to understand when you simply don't have a chance, and you can really see that by whether you always invest more than she does. If this is not the case, then as soon as she finds a potentially better candidate, you will end up in her orbit. Or right into the friend zone. As it sounds. The fertile female has spotted a potentially better candidate. Is there anything the beta male can do now? Maybe, but the question is it worth your time? Or should you do what's best for you and her and look for someone who really wants you as much as you want her? If you've somewhat understood how attraction works by now, you also know that pushy men tend to achieve the opposite of what they want. And the opposite of pushy is not slimy, lying and manipulative, but the opposite doesn't give a shit what the woman thinks of him, because you are aware of your self-worth and don't depend on her recognition. Clearly, we are more likely to achieve this if we actually have options. But the mere knowledge of this should actually be enough to make us proceed in such a way that we see in the woman just another option. Possibly one with potential. But not someone who is able to kick our self-worth into the basement. Because it is always based on this, when we openly accept the friendship. That we hope for more because we couldn't build attraction in time, or there wasn't even something there to work with. But we did fall in love. The woman is on the pedestal. And that would never have happened from the beginning if we had put our frame, only accept people around us who want us there as much as we want them, and we have built our happiness ourselves and can rely on it. Just on us and nobody else. Take care, and until the next video.